I like watching the different TV shows like Paranormal Witness or Paranormal Survivor. I love watching it. I love making fun of them because half the time they have no clue what they're doing.
And some of them are so dumb about it too. Like, yeah, let's be rude to the poltergeist that's giving you hell as it is. Yeah, calling it stupid and everything else is going to help you. It's already a negative being. All that negativity is just going to make it stronger, dummy. Get a priest and get it over with. For God's sake, man.
Half the time, the people that they get rid of it are too stupid to be able to get rid of it.
I know, it's like...
Are you kidding me?
You're sitting here like you're supposed to be the professional here, not me, the honest. What are you doing?
I started it. It's a good opener.
Go from movies to real
We should
life.
watch that episode. Which show was that we saw the Dybbuk box in?
Oh God.
Was it Paranormal Witness? I think it was.
No, the show? No.
Was it the one?
There was an episode of one of the paranormal shows.
And it shows the kid getting dragged down the freaking basement. I was like, that actually made me
No. This was an actual. This was just. We own this box, and it gets shipped. That's what, it gets sent here, there, and everywhere.
And like right now, it's in some undisclosed location, apparently chained up and shit.
It's actually in somebody's woodshed on an abandoned piece of property.
some jackass will find it eventually, and
Is one a Jewish one?
Yep.
That's what a Dybbuk box is. It's Jewish.
Is that like a Jewish?
It's like a Jewish.
Something or other?
It's a
trap.
It's a Jewish ghost trap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There was a movie.
I think
about
Ghostbusters is just low tech.
Well, that low tech keeps it at bay. So.
What movie was it that we actually saw that it was a found footage? It was in Mexico, but it involved the Dybbuk box. Like it was like a hotel or something.
Dude, I can.
And there was like rooms.
We watched a lot of found footage films.
It was like room 7, and the door.
It was a Spanish film.
No, it wasn't It wasn't in Spanish, but it was like a ghost. A rookie ghost hunting crew.
That's like
they all freaking
that's like half
died.
of them.
They paid the guy like the owners of the place didn't know they were there, but the caretaker that they hired. They paid him off with a bottle of like whiskey.
Oh God!
Oh God! Half the live stream is just gonna. I'm trying to work on our hot chocolate so we can get started. So you guys just keep talking about weird TV shows and everything. Oh my God!
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of found footage films because that's actually like my favorite in the horror genre. I know a lot of people hate it, but it's like I like it because it gives
it. Is it real found footage or is it
it's
Project like Witch thing?
It's like you can tell it's not real, but it's just like I like the style because it makes it more immersive for me. Like I can put myself in that situation. Although most of the time I'm like, you jackass, don't do it.
It's always that way, even with any other show or TV or anything. Everybody knows if you go into that noisy room, nobody is in. You're gonna get your head chopped off.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
There's something in the basement. We should go check and see what it is.
You're breaking Rule 30. Never go into the basement, especially alone.
I've seen this movie. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why white people die. Okay? Because we go looking.
I know, right?
This white boy ain't. I know the tricks.
So did you like the thing I tagged you in?
Yeah, it was maxed out, stuck in my head.
You should see, Julie. You should show her one of the other thing that I tagged you in. She got mad at me about.
Oh, you're getting sneaky beaky with that shit.
It's a game that we play in the military where we just do that and try and get people to see if we can get people to look at it without making it obvious. And the way the game normally goes is when they look at it, you get to sock them. But I just do that and it makes her mad.
No, listen on it. You're watching a video and someone tattooed it on their leg.
And he pulled his sleeve up like, yeah, this is an awesome tattoo.
And then he looks at the camera like you.
That's not the one though. The one that I tagged her in, somebody had carved a hand doing that into the pumpkin, and then spun it around.
And I slowly look over at him like, you bastard. Put this pain into my heart. I thought you loved me. You're my husband.
Yeah, I mess with you because I love you.
Oh. God, I did marry my father.
Trust me, the one time I stop is the one time you're like, oh my God, are you okay? Is something wrong?
I don't know, it depends on the day. I love you.
Good grief.
It's 20 seconds behind.
20 seconds behind.
Yeah, it has a 20-second delay. Why? I don't know.
Oh, beeping outs.
Why are there so many froyos?
Beeping outs. You know, in case somebody decides to throw a F-bomb in there. You can beep.
No,
this is a mature channel.
You guys want to be in front, or we just want to...
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe some spooky shit will happen over there.
I can't see nothing but the chair.
Oh.
Remember, there's 20-second delay.
Just shove it across.
How do I scoop the water in?
Here, blow up a balloon.
I got 2 of my own.
Mom.
Those?
Mom.
No, I got 2 of my own.
What's her?
What?
Do you have a scooper? Scoop the water?
No, she does not have a pooper scooper.
I would hope not for the water for our hot cocoa.
No, it has a lip on it.
Oh, well, my elbow hurts, so I can't do that.
You can't use your other arm?
Nah, I have weak upper body strength. All the strength is in my legs, I'm Gilly.
Dude. Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be, there are things that y'all can do to help her with her upper body strength. Thank you. It's my favorite cup!
Well, good.
So whose cups are these?
The camouflage one I'm using. That one Aaron wants to use because he likes the cups. The tops.
The what?
The tops.
I like to use ones with caps on.
Oh.
Obviously, he's clumsy and doesn't want his you-know-whaty to get
burned.
burned.
It's not me that's clumsy.
That's me. I'm a clumsy girl.
I can't tell you how many times she's knocked over a full cup of coffee.
Lad. Shit. I hit it.
Yeah, she probably did.
No.
Mom, it's okay to blame me. It's alright. I probably did it. It's alright.
Here we go.
I broke it. Motherfucker. I have fat fingers.
Sorry, because I probably did.
As I slowly disappear from the edge. So who's watching?
I don't know yet. We have 3 people on.
Woohoo! Hi, people.
Oh!
Actually, we only have 2 because
They count. Yeah.
They count yourself?
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that
That's
here?
just how YouTube is.
Oh, she got a door. Okay, we'll do this.
Jeez, I cannot
This is the
believe
only part that I have a hard time with.
Ah.
Guys, get it to stretchy stretch.
Yeah, it's the only part I have a hard time with on balloons. I hate it.
Motherfucker, did it. Your audience has to let me know if they're uncomfortable with me screaming like a sailor.
I'm uncomfortable with you cursing like a sailor.
Not supposed to breathe it in.
Shut up.
These smell nasty though. The balloons.
They smell nasty?
Oh my god,
That's why I'm dying. It's because I can smell it and it's making me icky. Don't look at me like that, woman.
You're weird.
I'm related to you. We're all weird. We're about to tell weird stories to the internet.
Dude, I am the most normal person in the family.
Okay, buddy. That's grandma. Maybe.
No, if you catch her at the right time, she's the weirdest. She's the queen of weird.
Yeah.
You just gotta catch her at the right time. You gotta give her, a Smirnoff twister thing.
Or show a penis before it falls on the ground. You think that's good enough?
3 fingers. Pull it. Stick it through. Don't hold.
Mother. Mommy. I'm having trouble, Mommy.
Balloon.
Balloon. God, it tastes like shite.
It does. It's too rubbery.
Yeah, it burns.
Too much rubber for the balloon?
Yes.
Oh, somebody may be busting a condom tonight.
I swear to God. Don't make me.
Didn't have enough to go around.
I will fall off this chair.
If the balloon pops, we hit the right subject now.
Is that gonna be our sign?
It's probably gonna be our sign.
Okay, remember which one you blew up.
This one. This me.
Whose ever balloon pops first is the one who's going to die tonight.
My butt.
Wait, give me the green laser.
Oh yeah.
Don't pop them.
No, I was joking.
No, where's the?
Extra key.
Oh my God, I still taste it. I'm so angry.
I gotta wait for it to cool down.
My headache started going away. That's plus.
Probably just needed something sweet. Have you been tested for diabetes?
I have not, but Aaron did say that I might be. It's possible.
Well, when you eat, do you get lightheaded?
I don't know if I get
Or do you get lightheaded if you don't eat enough?
I get lightheaded if I don't eat enough.
Yeah, you're gonna want
I
to.
just get nauseous.
You're gonna want to get checked
The
out.
reason I'm telling you to check is because I'm pre-diabetic technically.
Have you had any weird things happening with your vision?
This is a hell of a conversation.
Oi, hello.
Here.
Hey.
Is that thing that
It's the grid.
You know, there's a video of someone using this laser on a doggy.
Might as well turn that light off too.
And at first it's just the one laser, and then the dog chases, and then all of a sudden it's the grid like this.
Look how good it looks.
Yeah, you know, I'm not fond of this.
Why?
It reminds me of the cube.
Y'all live like stars.
If you're not careful, it's gonna turn into a tesseract and destroy us. Rip us all apart.
Like that scene in Resident Evil.
Oh dear God, that's just holy crap. That was.
Some are brighter than others, or is that just me?
Those are the main points.
Oh, I see.
The smaller ones are basically reflections of how it works. Yeah, I got those lined up pretty nice.
Here. Ow! It hurt my foot.
Nice.
Okay. So.
We'll start with Gilly because she's got the youngest. She got the oldest ones.
Hey.
Oldest one.
When the kids were little.
When the kids were little, when my nieces and nephew.
Let me know if it's pointing
My niece
right
and
in anybody's
nephew.
eye. I'm trying to wedge it so little.
I'm the niece.
My sister and her husband and kids were living in Taffville. The two youngest, me and my sister, were having to babysit the children.
So professional.
Okay, y'all are distracting me from my story.
Yeah, shut up.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. You're killing me here. You're killing me.
Killing me, Smalls.
Okay. Sorry, I'm totally distracted.
Shiny.
Blame the husband.
Shiny. Lights.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Fine. We were out on a date or something, and you were babysitting.
Well, it was getting late, and we had just finished eating dinner, so I started washing up dishes. And I'm in the kitchen, and Dale and the kids are in the living room. Now the children are around. What's the age difference between the two of you?
You said I would be about 2, and Ricky would have been about 1.
So you're like 18 months apart.
Yeah.
So we're about 1 and 2. And my Dale comes running into the kitchen, freaking out, going, something knocked Ricky over and tossed his bottle away. So I had to calm her down and tell her, go back into the room with the kids. I'm going to finish up the dishes and just start praying. Nothing else happened that night. A few weeks later, we were babysitting again. And I had everybody sleeping in the living room because, strength in numbers. And I was the last one to fall asleep. And I had a hand slapped against my back. And everybody else was, away from me. And the hand just kind of sat there for like 5 minutes on my back. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do?
That's creepy, dude.
It was. It scared the shit out of me.
Like, did you ever find if that place was, like, haunted? Like, the history behind that place or anything?
No.
Well, I know the place was haunted, but we never... I was only, like, a mid-teen, so I couldn't find out anything.
Yeah. The internet wasn't in full function. We still had the BBS back then.
Well, I mean, like, the landlord. Like, did the landlord ever tell you if anyone died there or anything?
No. He just wanted the money and let the house fall to disrepair.
Didn't it get torn down?
Yeah, it got torn down later.
The sad thing is, it's a federal law.
Would that have been...
It is now.
Was that the place where you had pneumonia, Mom, or is that the place here?
The pneumonia was across the way.
Who else wants to tell a story?
You tell a story.
Me. Which one do you think I should tell, Mom?
Any of them, all of them. And
oh, man. Well, I've had a few experiences with shadow things or whatever. Very, very vague stories, very simple ones, but
there's a lot of them.
At first, the shadow things were just little blobs crawling around the floor and everything, and the whole thing, I would notice them out of the corner of my eye, and I would look, and they would, skitter away or whatever. But whenever I see them, I would have weird, bizarre dreams. Like one, I dreamt of a painting. Wow. And I can't remember that one exactly. That was a few years back when I was still living with my mother and father and my brother in Texas. That was before they moved here to Connecticut. But ever since then, I would see more and more of these creatures, whatever they're supposed to be. And at first they're just blobs on the floor. Then they've gotten bigger and taller. And now they're becoming more vaguely humanoid in appearance. Like, I don't know if they necessarily have arms or legs, but they definitely have like the shape of a head and shoulders and everything. My most recent experience with that is I was laying on my back one night. This was like, what, Aaron, 2-3 months ago?
About there, yeah.
And I was laying on my back in the middle of the night. I was looking up, and I sleep on the left side of the bed. My husband lays on the right side. And this creature was bent over my husband's side of the bed, looming over me. And it looked like it was like made of blackness and white noise.
Did you leave a plate out for him?
There's 5 pieces in a bag in the refrigerator.
And it made this, what I think is a hellish sound. Like, it sounded like a screech with white noise in it. And it was the most bizarre thing. And what's even worse is that I felt something on top of my entire body, and I couldn't move or breathe. And it was like I was trapped in my own body, and I was trying to scream for help. But my mouth wasn't moving, my body wasn't moving or anything. That's the most recent one. But it's been happening for, what, 2-3 years now, maybe more?
Yeah, tell me about when you first started seeing it over at Campbell.
That happened in...
Yeah, she started seeing them at Campbell.
Yeah, I saw a few in Campbell. Luckily,
you saw some humanoid-shaped ones in Campbell. Hmm? You saw some humanoid-shaped ones in Campbell.
Yeah,
but they didn't look like the one that you saw recently, you know.
There were a few in Campbell. Those ones didn't make me feel as in danger. But they were very tall. Like almost the height of the house almost. And I do remember there was one humanoid shaped. It was like it was made of rainbow. It was very colorful. And that one wasn't, I don't think that one meant to hurt. That one felt more curious than anything. It seemed like it was peeking into the room that Aaron and I were in. And I looked at it and it was there for a second, then it went away.
Oh crap, they saw me.
Well, I mean... well, I've heard that Campbell is built on Indian burial grounds. At least partially. So
yeah, and Fort Campbell is it is a military base. That's where the 101
God knows what kind of weird shit they've been doing there.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about the mysterious booms on base?
Yeah, there's also, it would always happen around the same time. And it felt like something would slam against the house. We had similar problems in Austin, remember, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
It was like something would just slam into the house. And one night in Austin, we actually all felt it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like someone slammed a giant hand against the house and it shook it.
And we all went outside to check what it was, and nobody was checking but us.
Yeah, no one was out there but us. And for a long time it happened at Campbell, and it just happened all the time during the day. And of course you think at first, well, maybe it's just the guns or something, but I was not close enough at the time to be feeling it like that. So that was another very interesting and strange experience at Campbell. What about you, Aaron?
All my experience has been with you. You tell stories far better than I do.
I'm terrible.
Why don't you tell them about that fuzzy thing you saw?
Yeah, tell them about the little duder.
Well, I was sitting in front of my sister's laptop here in the apartment, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this little thing skitter across the floor, maybe about 2 feet tall, if that. It was kind of like almost like white fog. It was a torso, arms, legs, no head. And it just ran across the floor like a toddler would run across the floor. And I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Those are always the freakiest ones when you know you see something, but it's just like
I know
fog or something like that, and just kind of skitters across your floor.
It was like some weird ass shit. That I'm like, what is that? And Janet's like, I don't know. What'd you see? And I told her, and she grabs one of her
notebooks?
Detecting devices.
Oh yeah, there's nothing.
There's no EMFs or anything.
Nothing. It went by too quick.
The thing about this building is that this building is also pretty haunted. It has a lot of history. Wasn't there
There's a fire on this end of the building. Several people have either died. I think 1 or 2 committed suicide, but several have definitely died.
Just about every house we ever lived in was haunted.
There's actually a stairwell here that leads to the front of the building.
But
and oftentimes you will go down and some people feel like they're being pushed down those stairs.
I think I actually did get pushed. Dad and I were going down the stairs a few years ago, and I thought I had just hit a wet patch on the carpet, because I was wearing the wrong kind of shoes. There was no grip for the bottom of my shoes.
Yeah.
And Dad was several steps ahead of me. And I had went down. I had taken one step, and literally, all of a sudden, I'm on my back, full length, on the stairs.
Ow.
Oh.
Yeah. I had actually knocked Dad's leg. And he almost went down, too.
Ow, oh, fuck. I moved the wrong way and I hurt my shoulder.
Well, just ruined my story.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
But I've had weird experiences like that several times. Like once in Florida, I was walking on the edge of a piece of cement, And I'm like, and I actually thought this, it would be kind of painful if I tripped. And I actually felt like a hand grab my ankle and pull it out from under me.
Do you ever get that? Like somebody, when you're like half asleep and it feels like somebody just pushed your leg?
I get that a lot, and I do feel like I get grabbed on either the ankles or the arm a lot at night.
Yeah.
It's always a cold one, too. It's never warm, never.
So we know it's not me.
It's always, like a cold, clammy claw or something.
Fear factor.
Right. See, I have a few, but when someone wants me to tell them, I can never think of them.
Oh, well, there's one on...
Whoa, shit, cool feet.
They're yours.
No, they're hers.
Oh, it was when we were living in Detroit. Remember in this comb, it had we stuck all the dressers into one room. Remember that?
I've been told that. Was that the one that had the cracked window that I was told not to touch?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I touched it.
Touch the butt.
I was told not to touch the broken window because there's a nice big crack in it. And it's broken, it's sharp. Don't touch it, it's sharp, it'll cut you. So what do? I run my finger down it. I'm, 3? 4 years old? I had the presence of mind, though. Look at the finger. Oh no, I'm going to get in trouble. I go into the kitchen, grab a knife, and go and cut flowers from the garden out back.
Oh God! I don't want to get yelled at. Just pretend I cut myself on a knife.
I was getting flowers and I cut myself.
That was one of the nexus points we lived at, where I had this really weird dream when we still had Lady, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lady.
The dog.
Oh,
Grandma's dog.
Oh.
The Grandpa got it for Mom when we were little.
Oh, okay.
And because, Mom, he called the dog the Lady.
Oh, that's cute.
It was a girl dog. Well, she was getting old by the time we got to Liscombe, but
right.
I had this really messed up, surreal, other realm dream where me and Cynthia were sleeping in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the biggest space and we were the biggest kids, and and I dreamt that I was up in one of the rooms, and it had semi-walk-in closets in the house. Do you remember that?
Yes, because we used to play Doctor Who, and that was our TARDIS.
Well,
that's cute.
I dreamt that room was not a very nice room, and Lady was in it, and she was chained up, and there was this guy there saying, "Get out, or I will kill the dog."
I think not.
I'd kick some ass.
It felt so real. It's like it was like we're talking here. It was dark, but you could see everything.
Mom, can I hold one of your stones while talking about this stuff? I'm getting spooked.
Yeah.
You can purify it later. Which one's a good one to grab?
I don't know.
Probably the geode.
Which one's the geode?
All the way in back. All the way back.
Good here?
All the way back.
Oh,
That one.
Geode.
It looks like, if you look at it the right way, it looks like a cut through a brain. A side view of a brain.
Why you gotta make it creepy, dude? I'm trying to hold it to keep safe, not to feel like I'm a serial killer.
But yeah, we had a lot
daughter.
Right?
I personally had a lot of hauntings there. One of them was where I heard the voice, where it used mom's voice.
Oh, I hate that. I've had that before, and I'm like, no.
That's been getting more prevalent lately with me.
Yeah, and Mom called me, or rather the voice called me. It's like, "Mom, did you just call me?" She said, "No." I said, "I just heard your voice." She goes, "Next time you hear it, don't go near it. Just come straight to me, just to be sure."
What is it? What is it when you hear that? What is it? Is it a demon? Or is it a poltergeist?
It's a malevolent spirit that's trying to get into you.
Oh.
It's using something familiar to get a hold.
Okay. And knowing that house, probably trying to get me into some freaky vortex.
Is that what it is when you're sleeping, when you're laying there at night, and then all of a sudden you hear, like, in your head someone screaming your name? Or is that, like, some weird brain thing?
That could be several things. That could be that.
It could be a psychic voice.
Or it could be that you're linked somehow with somebody else.
Because I've heard Aaron's voice yell in my head. I've heard Mom's voice yell in my head. I've heard Ricky's voice a couple of times.
If it's in your head, it's probably a psychic projection from the person.
Stop screaming so much!
That they're not realizing they're doing. Most people don't know it. In fact, I think what Dad was doing today, I think he was projecting whatever sickness he was having. Because Mom and I both got sick today. We didn't throw up, but Mom's stomach was like really crappy.
It's interesting because when we were over there, he did say he started feeling pain.
Yeah, he held his
and my back, my back and stomach, my back was like really achy, kind of like almost like you're starting the flu, how achy you get.
Yeah, that's how they've described how. Do you mind if I say it on screen?
Yeah.
That's how my grandma described chemo. So that might be him passing it on to you to make it easier on him.
Oh God, my knee hurts.
That's possible. I mean, Mom and I are both really open to family's projection.
Yeah, so that's what we usually do.
Is she projecting her knee pain?
Remember when we were in Massachusetts and you had that dream
about the building?
About the building?
About that giant creature that was looming over the building, and I forget what it said, but I know it had something in his hand to destroy the building.
Yeah, and
I remember that one for sure. I also remember that dream I had. I dreamt a sandworm bit me in the back, and I woke up with a really huge bite mark on my back. It was obviously like not from Ricky or anything.
Right. No, that was when you said you dreamt about Santa. Was at the window, and we're at a second story window. Remember?
Oh.
You said it was Santa.
I think I vaguely remember. That window, it's in the room I used to stay in and where me and Janet were in, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I lived up here for that year?
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that window. I don't like that window. Is that also the window where one of the cats jumped out of when we were little? One of the kittens jumped out?
No, Ricky accidentally threw it out. That's why we called it lucky, because it was still alive.
Ricky as a child did not understand that you cannot do that stuff with animals. He didn't know when he did. But, I don't know,
curiosity.
Almost killed the cat.
But I do know...
What happens if this happens?
When I was there for that year, this would be... What year was it when you were in training? Like, actual, like, boot camp and everything?
2011.
Well, yeah, because we were still in Texas.
Sorry. I felt my own hair brush against me. Shit!
What's going on?
It was at the time my husband here he was in boot camp for Army. And I was staying up here, spend time with family, get a good year in with them and everything. My cousin Janet and I were staying in the same room together, and she had a baby at the time. How old would she have been?
She was like 18 months.
Yeah, she was like 1 year to 2 years old. And I know that she had a lot of nightmares in that room. She would fuss a lot in her sleep, and she would wake up crying a lot. I know that. And I would have a lot of weird dreams in there. And there would be times where the lights would dim really low, and all of a sudden there would be flies in the room for no reason. Just out of the blue, just a bunch of flies flying around.
Oh, that's because she's so dirty.
Don't need to get sued.
That's not nice. Come on.
I never liked the hallway, really.
But
I never
before it was cordoned off to make a bedroom when you were still little and we were living there.
Right.
I couldn't handle the living room in that big space living room.
Well,
I didn't like it. It was just freaky.
I know another thing that happened when I was living there for that year was me and Janet were just talking, and we were just, doing our late night, girl talk, just this, that, and the other thing, and in the hallway we hear like a You know how you can hear dogs walk? You can hear the little nails. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Well, we heard like a. You know how you can also hear the paws almost? Well, it sounded like a really big dog walking through the hallway. And we also heard it in the apartment above us. And that was weird. I was like, I'm not happy.
Remember when we used to smell really freaky ass dead things in Austin?
Yeah, like all the time.
And we'd hear footsteps on the roof. This would be at night.
We would
sometimes it would be people feet, sometimes it would be animal feet, and sometimes I could actually see an image of dragon feet.
Dragons, it could have been a couple of the times when we smelled stinkiness. It could have been my dragon. So my dragon's a smelly boy. Every time he comes around, it smells like a swamp, and I'm like, "Why are you so smelly? Take a bath, young man." But there were
the bog of eternal stench.
Oh God, no! But yeah, like spinning too far here. But yeah, in Austin. We had a lot of weird experiences in Austin.
We used to see kids going across in her bedroom when she wasn't in there. I would see kids going in and playing with kittens and stuff.
We did have a lot of dead kittens in that house.
Yeah, but this was before the kittens.
Oh, but even before our kittens?
Yeah, before
that.
Well, I think it was after What's His Flake. No, it was before, during, and after. I was with him.
Oh, okay. Alright. With love.
Yeah.
Dickbag who dragged us all the way down here just to be a piece of shit. But, I'm being all negative holding your geode. I'm sorry.
Well, it has 65 million years on it, so who knows what's really on it.
But,
it's probably from outer space anyway.
There was a time where there was like stomping on the roof. You remember that?
Stomping,
Aaron?
Yeah.
It was like with heavy boots, just like boom, boom.
We'd be laying there watching a movie in her room, and just all of a sudden thud, thud, just all the way across the room.
And I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Then there's that time I saw the face.
Was that the one where you screamed at?
Yeah.
Oh, that scared me. I ran myself. The funny thing is, I woke up not 5 minutes before that happened.
You sensed I was in troubles.
Probably. I went to the bathroom and was like, she's still up.
Like,
okay.
And Dad and Ricky and Dad were like, oh, it's probably just your poster because I had a Lord of the Ring poster. But it's like, yeah, but it's not high enough on the wall for me to be seeing the reflection. Like, there was like a dude looking into my window and it was super creepy.
We used to have
maybe
pictures.
It was really a dude. Maybe there was some nasty ass person.
I hope not.
Walking around
I didn't hear nobody run across the.
Yeah, that's the thing we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
And
hear
that fence
nobody.
is hard to climb because there's a dog on the next one. That dog was an asshole. Shut the hell up! Shut up!
And we used to have pictures when I was still living with him. We used to have
with
people.
Who? With our
Hawk.
Ugh.
We used to have people. It seemed like people were taking pictures of us at night through the windows.
I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Remember how
in Texas, everybody has privacy fences, so they're a good 6-7 feet.
Could that was it like it was in the house too? Like you just saw flashes in your face or something?
Almost something like that. But
because me and Aaron have that in Texas lately.
Yeah, we'll be laying down and like not focused on an area. We'll see like a flash coming from a camera. We'll look over, nothing's there, but it was a white flash, like from a camera bulb.
It is so bizarre. And our bed
Stay awake. Not tonight. Don't go to sleep.
It's weird because there would also be red flashes at times.
Well,
I get the red ones sometimes.
I have like a red keyboard and stuff that flashes.
I mean, like somebody taking a picture, but with a red flash.
Yeah, but you would also know the difference between halfway across the room and in your face too.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a distinct difference.
I'm talking about the ones we've been seeing. They're all the way across the room that we've seen them.
Yeah, and they're like pure white.
Like,
sometimes I'll see them in front of my face when I close my eyes and
like
everything
they're not
too.
even pointed at us. It's pointed at like
still
our
recording,
TV.
right? It's still playing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making
We'll
sure.
see. We'll find out soon.
Yeah.
Give it 20 seconds.
All right.
One Mississippi, two Mississippi.
Where did he get this Geo?
It's great grandpa's.
Oh.
Yep.
Grandpa Rugenstein?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of helping a little bit.
I missed it. Damn.
Well, let's do it again.
Your tablet's even further behind because I just saw it on your tablet.
That beeping noise is getting real annoying. I hate it. It reminds me of when I was living in Campbell. And that stupid thing would beep. We had to unplug it from the wall. And now we're in trouble.
Hand? I can't tell from this angle. It irritates me.
Oh, there's so many, and it frustrates me because you have all these ideas, and then...
What about the booms that you heard at Campbell?
You told me those were the guns, so I'm not talking about it.
Well, I guess they're
It
not.
sounded like the guns.
They were coming
sounded
from
like
the
the
sky.
guns.
I'm telling you, they were coming from the sky. It was like giant footsteps in the sky.
Like I said,
Damn.
when you would hear them, I would be in the
God
shop
have a
at work.
temper tantrum?
Huh?
When you would hear them, I would be at work, and usually they would do the artillery night fire about the time I got home.
I know what the artillery sounded like.
they have one in the
though.
morning, right? Like 6 a.m. or something like that.
Well, that's the cannon one. That's the cannon in the morning, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have one at dusk or something.
They don't do one at dusk on
But
cannon.
why would it sound like it was getting closer?
That's why I'm saying talk about it, because
I don't want
now
to.
that I think about it.
No.
Now that he thinks about it.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to talk about it.
It was actually close to the end of Aaron and I leaving Campbell. It was like, what, a few months before?
Yeah, but you also said there are things going on in the house.
There was so much going on in the house that I can't remember some of it.
Well, like I said, it's built on a bunch of old farmland, and supposedly somewhere there's
his shop was haunted. It had a little girl in it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, really? Did you see it?
I never saw it. I only ever heard stories about it of people leaving like late at night. They'd make sure all the tools were locked up, and then they'd turn around. Next thing you know, one of the tool drawers is open, and they're like, "Nope, I'm out."
Time to go home, lads.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they would hear pitter patter, and they turn and like see like a little girl's like head just bobbing between the trucks that were in the base.
Me and you were camping out in the living room. It was around when I was first on my sleeping pills.
You talking about that loud sound we heard that we couldn't figure out what the hell happened?
I can't remember. No, it was the time when we didn't hear or see anything. But my dog Rippy, she's a little American Eskimo. Yeah. She was laying next to me, and I was on the floor in the sleeping bag. She sits up suddenly and barks at the window. Just out of nowhere, just barks. And she doesn't do that at night. She's never done that. And she doesn't bark at stuff unless there's someone or something there. You know, if there's a person there, bark, 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 because, you know, dog. Squirrel, bark, bark, bark. But the windows were shut, the shades were shut, because I don't open shades at night, because I don't
want people peeking in. Yeah.
No, it's not people, it's something else in the darkness, and I don't like it. I don't know what it is. I've always...
That primal fear.
I don't like it. I feel like something is in there watching me, plotting something. I know it sounds silly, but...
It's a primal fear.
I do that in certain areas myself.
But my dog just suddenly jumped up and barked at the window. And she also barked at the door at night for no reason one time. Remember that?
Not everybody comes out of the woods.
You want to fight? I don't go near the woods either. Man, Blair Witch just made it worse, but I always had that fear. Blair Witch just made it worse. No witchy poo gonna get this girl. Mm-mm.
Are you my mummy?
Are you my mummy? God. Do you want me to put it back over here? Or?
If you feel safe.
I think I'm feeling okay-ish right now. Oh, you put it like this, right?
Yeah.
Am I putting it right? Is it
You're good.
level enough? Oh, there was a few things that happened at Campbell. We got some of it I can't remember completely. Oh, there was a lot.
I had a lot of deja vu on Campbell.
I've been getting a lot of deja vu this year, and just in the past 6 months.
I actually got deja vu at Janice the other night, like clear,
yeah,
like
I got deja vu reading a book. Exact position of my person, exact way I was holding the book, exact sentence. I'm like, what the hell?
I've read this before.
Which is weird because I've never read the book before.
That could be the timeline's getting close enough, and you're feeling it. You're experiencing both memories.
I didn't even think of. I've never thought about it like that. That's a possibility of what deja vu.
It's like when they were explaining in Genesis how there's like those nexus points where it's an event that has to happen.
Oh yeah.
Something like that could have been happening, and it pulled it close enough to where everybody experiences it.
Genesis made me mad with that twist. Piece of shit movie.
I'm willing to bet a lot of people who experience deja vu don't talk about it because it's like, oh, I have this all the time, but they don't stop and think about it.
They don't realize what it actually is, because if it is true that there are quantum realities, then those realities are not straight realities, but they're all kind of like
touching each other once in a while.
Wobbly, timey-wimey.
Well, not exactly, but they're more like waves on a meter.
Yeah.
Than straight line.
Yeah, and the closer.
And sometimes
they bump into
each other. Instead of going like this,
they synchronize.
They
like
go.
The moment
one goes down and one comes up.
Well, I hope one of me is rich because I'm tired of being broke.
I know sometimes there's random feelings of my chest tightens and suddenly it feels like there's like a hand in my chest over my heart just closed over it.
I get that once in a while and it just flutters.
Yeah.
I get that once in a while.
See, with that, I don't know.
Sweetie.
I don't know if it's my anxiety or something actually grabbed me, because when it comes to that stuff, I do have anxiety, so it's hard to say.
You can tell the difference, because an anxiety can be controlled.
Like you stop and breathe for a second, it'll stop.
I don't know. These ones, it's like something won't let me breathe. My throat is just tight and everything. It's weird. I don't like it. Well, no one would, but.
Well, in that instance, you do what what Grandma tells everybody to do. Call on the blood.
I was thinking of something I completely forgot.
Oh, what's it about?
I don't remember. I hate that.
I know as a kid in that old apartment here, I used to have night terrors according to you.
All the time. I would try to pick you up and you kept on saying it burns. If I tried to touch her, at the very moment I would touch her, she would say, it burns.
That's weird. You never told me that part. Which is weird because I was told that...
Well, you had to be old enough to be told that.
Way back. Someone told me that way back here that a man burned alive in this apartment building.
It was probably that, at that end. There was, I looked it up, the building, because we flooded out, remember?
Yeah.
There was a fire, and it wasn't here, and it was back in 1999. Yeah, but that happened. Maybe you had a premonition.
I was going to say 99, that would have been before 99.
Yeah, maybe you had a premonition.
When that happened.
There could have been
Yeah, because you were there in 95?
Something like that.
Yeah, because I left in 96.
Yeah, it could have been a premonition because it was at that end of the building.
Oh, shit.
Because the fire that broke out here in our apartment in 2014, isn't even registered.
Well, it was a smolder.
And still, I mean, it's still, structural damage. And it certainly shows come time it rains.
That is, yeah. Oh.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you were little.
Jess hates coming in here. Coming into this building.
Yeah.
She's such sensitive that it overwhelms her. She hasn't had the training to block it out or to close the door on it. So it's like it almost assails her to come in.
Like walking into a brick wall?
I always feel very angry walking into this building. I know part of it's because I don't like this building, because I don't like that it's all jacked up and everything, and someone doesn't take care of the building very well as much as he should. But I don't know, there's just something about this building, like, I don't know, like this whole place just needs to be like...
The 4th floor I can't handle.
I've never been
the
on
third
the
floor makes you feel like you're in some kind of vortex because the way the floor
is
and the ceiling. Oh my god!
I've never actually been to the 4th floor.
I never thought. I've never.
You should have.
Maybe 10 billion years ago.
No, when we
That's
came.
when where Grandma and Grandpa lived when you guys came up to for Christmas.
Oh, years and years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the 4th floor, really?
Yes.
Well, you couldn't tell because we took the elevator.
Oh yeah.
Of course, looking out the window, you can tell.
Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah, I was on the 4th floor. Okay. They've lived in like 10 different apartments in this building. Okay, it's not my fault. Dad's lived in about what 2, 3, 4.
No, we only lived in where Victor lives, and the one down the hall with us. That's it.
He also lived in the apartment that Grandma and Grandpa are currently in too.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Or the one next to it.
The one next to it.
Oh,
That's Victor's.
okay.
Yeah.
Because he lived right across from Pops. You want to tell them about Damien and Sweet Tooth, your first experience with all this?
Go ahead.
No, you tell him. It was your first experience.
Well, you tell your side and he'll tell his side.
This
How about
was
that?
when
Because
we
I was a
were...
normie at the time.
Well, that should make
a...
the story even better.
Who and what?
It's an internet term. More of a 4chan term, but we were in the dating part of the relationship at the time. We were 16, 17 at the time, somewhere around that age range. And I was spending the night at his house. I know, shock and awe. But we were just laying there, just talking, whatever. No, we weren't diddling or nothing. We were just talking.
Diddling, I love it. Diddling.
We were just talking.
You wasn't naked.
I think that night we actually talked to Janet. We talked to her. And I don't remember what it was about. She was asking me something. Do you remember what she was asking me? Like if I felt something or anything like that?
Is that the night they sent that thing to you?
Yeah.
Yes. And...
Yeah, so I basically got thrown under the bus on that one.
And, afterwards we were just laying there just talking. We hear something scrape down the window.
Mind you, I was living in a different house than what we're in now.
Yeah, we were living in they were living in a different house at the time on a different road. And it was just like this, like Freddy Krueger type claw going down the window basically. And that's the best way I can explain it.
So us being the white people that we were,
and we
opened the window and start taking pictures.
And we caught a lot of weird stuff.
Like we caught the outline of a white wolf.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you know how like when you take a picture, it's like even on a digital picture there'll be like smudges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw one in like the perfect outline of a white wolf.
Wow.
There was a turtle too.
Mm-hmm.
That was really bizarre. There was a turtle.
They're on an old camera.
We saw a red orb.
Is that Indian land? Native land?
It's Texas.
It's
it very
Texas.
well
It could be.
There could have been Mexicans, Incans. Incans are Mexican, aren't they?
They were at the time. It wasn't called Mexico, but yes.
But they could have been anything. And there was a turtle, and we got a lot of orbs. There was a lot of orb activity that night. It was weird.
Various colors too.
Yeah, there were like blues, and there was a couple red ones that kind of freaked me because I had never seen a red orb. I've seen blues and whites, a couple yellows here and there, but I've never seen a red orb. And we heard the same clawing sound up against one of the cars in one of the houses next to us. And we heard a growl. I'm pretty sure we heard a growl.
Yeah, it was a growl.
And that was when I was like, oh, hell no. It sounded like Aaron just shut the door. We're going to show them pictures tomorrow. Just shut the door, shut the shades. And what had happened was, and I'm not saying anything negative about my cousin or anyone else. I'm just telling the story how it went. I'm fine with it now. Things happen. And apparently what had happened was, I'm not even sure if I'm getting the story straight with their side. But my cousin...
They called something.
Yeah, they called something.
They couldn't control it. So instead of sending it back where it was because they couldn't control it, they sent it to the first person that came to mind.
And that happened to be me.
Yeah.
And I was with Erin at the time.
And she was just talking about the stuff with me at first.
And
I'm a normie at this point.
I was just trying to discuss it with him, trying to tell him what I've been through and what my family believes in and what my family has gone through and all that other stuff. And then that whole thing happened. But I had never actually heard a noise like that before. Not like clawing and growling, so I was really disturbed because it's like, that's not friendly.
Yeah, and it was distinctly coming from that front window.
Yeah, it was coming from the window, and I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this, And like Gilly said, what happened was they were summoning a spirit for, I don't even know what it was for, but I know where it happened because they showed me where they did it.
I believe it was.
There was two of them.
Said it was a blood ritual they were doing.
It was. Yeah. It was two.
Which was, that's intelligence.
Yeah, that part they told us.
There were two entities. Apparently, the names were Damien and Sweet Tooth, and Sweet Tooth is the one that went after us. The really violent one went after us.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it was. I'm not even sure what exactly he was supposed to be. Like, I was told he was from he was a spirit from CVH.
It might have been another spirit by the same name.
And I thought that was really disturbing because I'm like, that's where a bunch of mental people are.
Well, they've done experiments there too, so Lord knows.
I mean, I believe it. I'm just like, what kind that this guy was at our window clawing and growling and everything. And I felt bad for Aaron because at the time, like I said, we were just trying to ease him into it. Now, you don't want to throw anybody into it just willy-nilly like a fucking idiot.
Meanwhile, here comes the bus.
And then here comes Sweet Tooth like, hey guys, I've come to eat you. Luckily, it was dealt with, the family dealt with it and everything, but since then, Aaron hasn't been the same.
Well, that's when
his supernatural cherry has been popped.
Basically.
And I remember that a couple times, or one time, he dreamt of a wolf.
Still have those dreams.
What is it doing?
Sitting there watching.
Just watching, that's it?
Not even growling, just watching. It's almost like looking at a picture.
Does it appear, what does its eyes look like?
It's got an eye shine, but it's not...
It's not red or demonic looking?
No.
It's probably...
Could have been your spirit animal.
It's probably your spirit guide.
Yeah.
They're it's like a gold color almost.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's the form your guide is taking at that particular time.
A form you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, because at the time I really liked wolves.
Yeah, you were really into wolves then, that's for sure. It was just a really bizarre experience because I've heard noises and I've seen things, but I'd never. It just felt like such a violent spirit. It was just so wrong because I've never dealt with a violent spirit before. At least not that I can remember, at least, So it's just a really uncomfortable, scary experience. And I felt bad for Aaron because it's I didn't know what this... If I knew what the thing was, I could have figured something out. But I didn't know what it was.
Did you build a barrier or something that night immediately after that happened?
Yeah, a barrier was put around that night.
Because I had to call What's-Her-Flake, and she said, do a dragon spell. And that's how we got the dragons at the house.
That's where Stinky comes from.
Mixed stink.
And then other shit started coming around. Because I knew other people were around and, listening in, as it were. So I put up a mirror spell.
Mirror spell?
That's
reflects what they're.
Yeah, it goes back to them 100-fold.
Ouch.
So it's not a punishment or anything. It's not something that would come back to you like a love spell or anything like that.
The thing is, I think I've gotten better with.
In other words, if you're gonna hate on me, it's just gonna bounce off and go right back to you. So.
Like Teen Witch.
I never seen that.
I know I've gotten a little bit.
But there's no repercussion on the person who cast that particular spell.
Because there's
none
no ill
whatsoever.
intent.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'll hear something or I'll feel something, and I'll stop and I'll look around and I'll say, "Go away. This is not your house. I don't want you here." And the feeling will go away. So I'm getting somewhere, that's for sure.
And then also, there on Means, where my uncle, who I never met, Uncle Alan, we were telling you the other night where he blew his brains out.
Mm-hmm.
And then my Uncle Doug had, but they both had died there. God knows what else happened there. I will occasionally see my Uncle Doug, because he was bald like my grandpa. He shaved his head. I will see a bald head peeking up, or peeking around a corner, peeking into a room.
I'll see that every once in a while, but I don't feel like threatened by it or anything.
It's not threatening. It's just more like, well, what the hell is that?
I think Uncle Doug's just checking in on us, like, what are you kids doing?
Keep that door open. Too late.
That's just homework, right?
But the thing is...
Yeah, biology.
In Grandpa's room, he does still have a dresser that does still have blood stains from... Which one?
Alan.
From Alan shooting himself. And that room is the coldest.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't understand how it's so cold. I mean, yeah, he does have a ceiling fan and everything, but that only cools your room off so much.
The rest of the house is boiling hot, and when the sun sets, it's on that side of the house.
And you walk in, it's just freezing cold. It's so cold in that room.
It was also
help he's a negative person.
It was also cold a lot in the house that you and your brother were haunted in, that Gilly was talking about. I hated that house. I could not go through that house with the lights off.
I can't go through anything with the lights off.
Yeah, it took me a long time to not worry about whether the lights were off or on.
You ever get that feeling when you're walking, like 1 minute you'll be fine and it'll be dark and you're just walking, no big deal, then all of a sudden you'll feel something near your back. And then you're just like, nope.
Yeah, that's the way it was in that house. With me, I couldn't get to the bathroom quick enough. I couldn't get to the bedroom quick enough. It was freaky.
I didn't like it when I couldn't wake up when you walked through, because Ricky was screaming. He was little. I think he was being sick too. You walked through the living room where Dale and I were sleeping, because we were staying over that night. And you're bitching. Why aren't they getting the kid? They need to help me out when they're here.
I still don't remember that. I probably just sleepwalked the whole way through.
No, you probably.
For all I know, because
it took me forever to wake up to physically. Who's talking and why?
That's the game.
Oh, okay. It was just, I couldn't move. My eyes would barely open. I could hear you, but I couldn't say anything. It was like sleep paralysis or something. And that's only happened one other time. Oh my gosh, that's only actually happened one other time. When Mom and Dad were upstairs and we were living down the road over top of Rosario's tailor shop.
Yeah.
I used to live over there?
We came over here one night because Larry was in jail. And we slept over with Mom and Dad because I had to get the kids to school and I didn't want to be over there. I was going to go over to get something, but I was laying on the floor with the kids trying to get them to go to sleep, and I physically couldn't get up off the floor. So I just went to sleep. Took the kids to the bus, had to go to DSS. And when I came back, I went up to the apartment, to my apartment, and found out it had been broken into.
Oh, shit.
Maybe that's why you weren't supposed to move.
So I'm like, damn, it had been broken into. And nothing was, like, stolen or anything. It just shit, the refrigerator was left open, shit was knocked around. You know, dumb childish shit that, you know.
Maybe somebody was pissed off at him.
Well, you know what? They tried coming in again. I was in the bathroom, and I heard these guys coming up the stairs, so I finished what I was doing. And they opened the door, and I came out of the bathroom like, what the fuck are you doing? So they ran back down the stairs, and the landlord came in, because they weren't supposed to be there, and he saw them coming in.
See, when
it's like, they just tried to come into my apartment.
Don't actually kill them. Then you'll go to jail.
I used to get sleep
paralysis.
paralysis.
Sweetie, if I wanted somebody gone, they'd be gone and you wouldn't know it.
I believe you.
I think we'd all not know it. There are other ways of getting back at people without putting them in jail or touching them or hiring somebody.
That's true.
You could.
In Texas, we call that the cornfields.
No, without touching them.
You throw somebody out there, they ain't coming back.
I used to get sleep paralysis all the time as a kid.
As a kid?
As a kid, when we were living in Turnbull.
Huh.
I can't say I would have gone through that.
Well, it's kind of freaky because you're wide awake, but you can't move. And with me, I always saw walls covered in bugs and stuff. But I was wide awake, but each time I tried to move...
Would that be around the time of the MIBs?
Probably, I don't know. Could be. Because Mom said we'd always get night terrors attacked by whoever, Mom described them as shadow people, but Dad keeps on saying that they were MIB.
Maybe they're one and the same.
I don't know.
Maybe MIBs can look like shadow people for all we know. I don't know what exactly MIBs are, so I'm just kind of tossing stuff out there.
If anybody wants to listen to that story, just go to MIB Experiencers. That's the latest video.
I gotta go searching for it.
Of course. After we're done.
Bruh.
Well, yeah, but it happened to me like once a week or something like that. But so I don't think it was that them. I think it was probably aliens, because that's part of the criteria. And there's one thing I'm gonna keep out unless you've been abducted, because they're already saying that's a sleep issue with the mind. But I don't think that what certain people experience has got anything to do with that.
Well, you can't be vague like that. What?
Well, okay. Fine.
Well, until you come to her and say this is what's happened, she wants.
You have to give me specific details on how your sleep paralysis went.
Oh,
there's certain things that
it's to eliminate the possibility of your mind.
I know when I have my sleep paralysis, it feels like something's pulling me.
I just feel like I can't move, like I'm in a force field.
Would that be? Sorry, I'm still going on. Would that be to eliminate the placebo effect?
Yes.
And people who can't tell the difference between a normal, paranormal sleep paralysis and an abduction paralysis and just the mind.
Okay.
Because
with me, it's hard to say.
Or your guardian angel keeping you from getting, knocked in the head because of robbers in your house.
Yeah. So technically, there's like 4 different types of sleep paralysis.
See, like I said, the problem with a lot of this stuff is I don't always know the difference because of my depression and anxiety.
Oh, you'll know the difference, sweetie.
That's why I want to go back on my pills, because
through your depression or your anxiety, you will know the difference, because this is not my anxiety. This is something different.
Yeah, because if
I
it's
know
still
when I get
there,
that pulling feeling, I feel like that. It feels like something's wrapped around my waist and pulling me.
Do you get that at night when you're sleeping or just about to sleep?
I get that when I'm just about to sleep, yes.
Do you feel like there's a dark figure behind you or in front of you?
No. I haven't had that one since that one time I told you about. Remember I had that dream that I actually met up with someone here in Middletown? And they were telling me this other person run away, they're after you, don't look back, don't look at them.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And then I woke up, and I had my back faced out, and I was holding Aaron. And I've heard a voice say, don't look at them, don't look back, don't look at them. And I felt like something was pressing against my back. I didn't look back because, I wasn't going to risk that.
Like, the thing you felt on your back, was it like, did it feel like it was like trying to get your attention, like when I do that?
Mm-hmm. I basically forced myself to go back to sleep at that point. It's like, no, it's not worth it, Miss Seeley.
I had a dream when I was still in Florida one time when Larry and I, one of the many times Larry and I had been split up. I was laying down in my brother-in-law's house in one of the rooms. And I was dreaming, I don't know why I was dreaming this. Probably because in reality I was such a weak person during my marriage, because he was such a domineering, horrid person.
Just say piece of shit.
POS. And in my dreams, I'm a very strong individual. In my dreams, and in this particular one, I was Xena.
Nice.
I had the persona of Xena. Well, in this dream, there was also a dead zone. Where if you walked into it, you literally died within seconds and became mummified.
Oh.
Now this I know I don't have evidence of it, but I'm able to know certain things at certain times, and this place is somewhere on the planet or slightly phased out, but here.
Yeah.
I believe it.
But I'm walking, and a little later in the dream, I'm walking, and I'm supposed to be walking with my dream brother, who was not AJ, was somebody else completely. and the person's like, "Come on, let's go," and puts his arm. You know how you put your arm around your sister, or your brother, or whatever. Come on, let's go. And I look over, and it's not the person that's supposed to be. It's some demonic, lizardy, red-eyed creature thing trying to grab a hold of me. And just as I'm waking up, as it's pulling me towards it, I'm waking up, and my body just gets pushed into the mattress.
I get that sometimes.
Like, at that very instant of the creature pulling on me, I was coming back into, and it was literally I was being pulled.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Oh, that reminds me of when we were still in Massachusetts.
Right.
And I was trying to sleep, and sometimes I get these forced fatigue. I don't know if anybody's ever got that, but when you go
just like out of the blue, you're just
out of the blue, you're fatigued, and then you fall asleep, and then you get a nasty dream.
Oh yeah, I get those all the time.
I still get those, but there was one when we were in Massachusetts. I dreamt, or rather, I was in this realm because I know I wasn't asleep. It started off with Julie screaming in her bedroom, and I'm telling Sam, go take care of her, I can't get out of bed. But I could get out of bed for some strange reason. He didn't hear nothing. I go into her room. Her bed is like up against the wall on a slant, and she's screaming, "Mommy, keep him away!" And there's this naked guy trying to get at her.
I remember you telling me about that one.
And I picked him up. I could feel his flesh. And I slammed him across the room, didn't slow him down, grabbed him again, slammed him across the room. It was nothing to him. And I kept on saying, "Leave my daughter alone, get away from her." And the only thing that slowed him down was the fact that I said, "Jesus, make sure he stays away." And then he left. And then I was back in my bed. And then it happened again. And Sam was still at the computer doing whatever. And I said, "This ain't happening no more." And then I'm back in my bed. And then next thing I know, I'm up on the ceiling. I'm back with my back to the ceiling. And somebody is grabbing me. And I couldn't breathe. He was right around my waist and stuff. But I think it was two different events, though. Because it was happening, it felt like an hour that this shit. They were grabbing me for like an hour. And I said, "Fuck this shit." And I said, "I'm going in on my own, and I'm going to find out who it is." And I just went in, and I ended up in this, I guess it seemed like a dorm room.
Oh, I remember this one.
It seemed like a dorm room, and there was like 6 to 8 people on the side of the bed where I landed. They saw me. They had this scared look on their face, and they were all wearing these T-shirts that said something. I don't know what it was.
It was probably some
bunch of dumb
fraternity
college
Some
bullshit.
dumbass fools. It was boys and girls. And it says, "Oh, you see me? Well, now you can catch me." And I ran out of the room, and they all just freaked out. And I got back and was back in my bed.
Jesus.
I would have loved to have seen that.
I just ran down the hall because the door was to the left, and then I took a right and I ran down the hall, went through the wall, and I was back in bed.
Man, they must have lost their shit.
What the fuck? We did something, holy shit! We accomplished something! Never again! You picked the wrong damn bitch, because guess what? I'm leaving.
Bye.
Thing is, we had a lot of. I think part of the problem was Sam.
I want to find those people. That would be so cool if one of them's watching right now.
I know, it's like you done fucked up because I can still do that shit. And I got more power now because I got more rocks and swords and everything.
Mom, I think part of our problem with seeing half the shit that we did in Massachusetts, it was Sam. I think a lot of it was his negativity and his. He did a lot of witchcraft type shit, but he was always doing the bad shit.
No, he wasn't. He was doing stuff between me and him on a personal note. Because the first thing we did together was a blood ritual.
No, I don't trust
The first thing we did was a blood ritual to get connected and experience, gain each other's gifts. Which is... And they did it right because it happened. It all worked out. We gained each other's gifts, but it was short term. The second ritual was a marital ritual, but I wouldn't complete that because the way he explained it is that we would literally be so connected that if he wanted a cigarette, I'd want a cigarette. Whatever he thought, I could think, I could hear it.
Some kind of independence.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a little too...
The last niche on that was that I had to give him that I could never give anybody else, that I've never given anybody else. And there was nothing there I could give him because I already gave up my virginity. I already gave so many of my kids. I did everything. So what was left?
Your soul?
That's about it. I wasn't going to give anybody my soul.
You don't give no one your soul?
Nobody. I'm not going to give you half of what I am when I barely understand who I am. You know?
That's mucked up.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be knowing what you want. That's the reason why you got your own skull cap. You know?
Exactly.
What about the time we watched The Exorcist and the broom thing? We got to explain the fact that I had used a Ouija board previously with a friend of mine because she wanted to experience a Ouija board. If I remember correctly, we burned the original one.
Never use it again because the one time I used it, I ended up marrying Larry.
One of the times that I used it, I made it. I was trying to get a hold of an acquaintance. His name was Steve. And I actually got an honest-to-goodness number, a working number from it, and it was where he lived.
Oh shit, son.
It was one of his, quote, wives, end quote. And that's how I met your father. Because she invited me over to her New Year's Eve party.
And then me and Ricky were born.
Not quite soon, but... I personally have never had any issues with any homemade Ouija boards.
Well, the problem with my experience was the fact that every time I used one with somebody, they're disrespectful. Yeah. They don't know when to shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. But they didn't know when to stop.
Oh, you can tell that one.
Which one?
The one with Janet and Melissa.
When we used the board?
Yeah.
Did I use one with Mel?
You never use anything with Mel or Janet. Ever.
I can't remember using one with Mel.
You said, Mel wasn't there?
No, I used one with Janet.
Where you said there's certain people you just can't do that stuff with.
Where everybody was getting agitated and you felt like you were getting possessed at the time because they didn't get their questions answered quick enough?
No, it was after the fact, and there was supposedly a spirit around, and I was trying to channel it.
Oh, okay.
And it was working, and he was listening to me. He really was. But they kept getting belligerent with him.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't.
And he lashed out at them.
I don't blame him for that.
And he was getting really upset, and he kept telling them, just knock it off and everything. And I felt like I was being pulled when when they weren't bothering him. It was fine. He was calm, peaceful. It was like, everything was, fine and in sync. But he started getting mad because they were being belligerent. It was almost like things were going like all haywire and everything. I'm using hand movements and they can't
Nobody
see.
can see.
You were falling out of sync with him.
Yeah, and it was like we were falling out of sync.
And you were feeling the difference.
And let me tell you, when something is inside of you and it's angry, and you can feel it, but you know it's not you, it is the most uncomfortable thing ever. But he lashed out at them and told them to knock it off and that, to quit calling me weak and everything like that.
You're stronger than both of them.
And he was.
That's so true.
And so I told him, it's time to stop. You're hurting me, and he left.
It's one reason why I take cues from you when we do try this stuff.
He's actually still around.
Mm-hmm.
I let him communicate with this arm, with the left arm.
He has no problem.
No, this is my right arm. I'm sorry. This is my left arm. This is lefty. This is righty.
You have to name them.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, he has no problem with me because I'm not disrespectful. I'm like, I know you could probably snap my neck in like 2 seconds. I'm not gonna fuck with you.
We call him B.
I love watching people, like on those different shows when they're saying, when they tell the spirit to, let's go, show me what you got, and they get knocked off a ladder or something.
No, like Ghost Hunt. Like,
you get what you give. You don't be disrespectful.
Ghost Hunters went to Ireland. Where's Lep Castle in Ireland? Yeah, they went to Ireland to this place called Lep Castle. I knew about Lep Castle. For once, I actually knew something before they went to it. It's this castle in Ireland. And it's been there, of course, for, decades and generations and everything. There's a priest in one place, and there's this thing called the Elemental in this tower.
Used to be an execution tower.
And we don't entirely know what the Elemental is.
Only
that it's, really violent. And they went into the tower where the Elemental was, and was, of course, antagonizing it. And I'm sitting there like, one of them's going to get fucking shoved or something.
Didn't they start feeling, real heavy or something?
Yeah, they started feeling heavy, and one of them was
drained.
Shoved.
Yeah, they started feeling, real drained.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, because you're antagonizing the demon, whatever it's supposed to be, stupid.
It doesn't anybody, much less somebody that's going to sit there and talk shit.
You know who's bad about that? Ghost Adventures.
They're such idiots. I hate
They're
that
so
one.
bad about it. I'm like, why are you doing this?
The one episode I wanted to see of that was the one where they went to the Civil War battleground. The one that they showed, previously, and they showed that. Right. They don't have that on Netflix.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 because I have no battery power, even though it's plugged in.
Mom, you know that it's because we're talking about the spooks.
No, it just doesn't like to stay charged when it's plugged in for some reason.
So you want to do more tomorrow night or something? No, we won't be here tomorrow night.
Where are you gonna be tomorrow night?
I'm gonna be at Janet's tomorrow night.
Booger.
I am a booger.
Well, your story reminded me of when me and the Steve guy was talking about earlier went to Let's Castle years and years and years ago. We went at night.
Did you take cough syrup?
Cough syrup? We went at night. We went on the top of a hill where people park at wherever it is. I didn't know where the hell we were, but we parked, and it got kind of creepy. And there's woods in that area, right? Well, if we looked into the woods, we would see 12-foot high shadow men.
Oh shit!
There was like a half a dozen of them.
Is that during the day or at night?
At night. And of course, there's no real light. There was just moonlight, so we were just walking along. Next thing I know, we're walking like 6 inches off the air. Off the ground. We're just walking on air. We heard all kinds of creepy stuff.
Maybe there was something there that was camouflage.
Who knows? I mean, oh my god, it was...
Or something came in phase that isn't supposed to be there, that's there in the other world.
Aaron, what about the time we went to that cemetery with Auntie Deal?
Oh.
It was the cemetery at CBH.
We're not going back to that cemetery.
Of course, that was when, it was actually open. You can actually go through. Now you can't do that anymore, as far as I know. National Guard guards it now, apparently. Because that's not suspicious at all.
Although with recent events, I can see why.
Not suspicious at all. You can have regular Joe cops there for that.
True, because I've seen Hueys go down, practically landing in that area from here.
And we drove through. We didn't walk. It was, of course, at night, because that's the best time to go to a goddamn cemetery, right?
If you want to switch phones, you can get on my phone and set up.
We go through the cemetery. We're driving through.
That's another reason why.
And that was one of the first times I ever got a heaviness in my chest. And I felt like there was a weight inside not on my chest, but inside. And all I could think of was, there is pure hatred.
We all felt it.
In this area. And I felt like crying. There was just pure hatred and just pure sadness there.
It was probably all the experimentations they did back in the day, or still do.
I mean, just without
they're still doing zapping.
Yeah, they still do that.
All over the place that Cynthia took me to when Daniel had to go up for an evaluation, and she told me that they were doing experiments in there, and we went to a little area that had steam coming off the grates on the ground, and if you got too close, you got some really bad vibes.
You got any stories that you'd like to share?
Got any baby Julie, baby Ricky stories? The spooks. Auntie, it's midnight.
Oh, okay.
It's midnight 01.
This would be a good time for an intermission.
Yeah, we'll be back.
I gotta go to sleepy sleeps.
Sleep.
Well, that's one down for the count.
Aww. We'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Did you just squeal? Oh, man. I guess this is a good time for a break, huh? Giddy up! Giddy up! Ow. You pulled hair with that one.
Sorry.
Wait.
Nighty.
No more stories?
No more stories. Nighty night.
Come with you.
Yes, because we've just been telling ghost stories, so.
It's still on. Is it still on?
Nothing creepy or spooky inside. I've tasted the bastards, but that's about it. The only story I have is when I got my name in the middle of the night.
That'd be a good one to share. Wish you want to share.
I wish that wasn't broke.
Yeah. What we turn on and off.
That's why she called herself Shadowstalker. Because the name was given to her was Night Shadow, so she called herself Shadowstalker. Then Jackass, when he took off with her, decided, he's going to change his name to Shadow Lover. I'm like, you're a fucking retard.
That's
He did everything he could to try to remove me from the scene entirely.
Is it still live?
That's what all of his fucking rituals were about.
It shouldn't be. I turned it off.
It shows it's still going.
No, that's just.
No, it's still got the stop button.
It's not on. Now it is.
Oh,
You want to
why is
stop
it still on?
There you go.
Oh.